says that I'm live. I am live. So make sure you log on to doggiediamondstv.com after this live stream. After. Why should you log on? Because you might have missed some videos that I put out. You might have missed some audio that I put out. If you didn't catch it in the YouTube feed or me posting on any social media page of mine, you might see it. Definitely going to see it on doggiediamondstv.com. That's why you should log on. doggiediamondstv.com. And let me give you some brief information. Have you heard about my $200 social media promotional deal? If you didn't, I'm going to give you some details real quick of why you should hop on this. First and foremost, the promotion will be done on Doggie Diamonds TV and the Interlude TV accounts. That's on the Insta stories, the YouTube communities, the threads, the Facebook, and the Twitter accounts. I could promote whatever you need. But as a reminder, this is for serious inquiries only, man. You got to be Cash App ready to go. I can also do Zelle. I could put your product in front of hundreds of thousands of people with a single post. That is your T-shirts. That is your YouTube. That is your music. That is anything that you have that you need promotion for. It could be your new store, your new product. It could be whatever it is that you have. I could put you in front of those folks. So all you got to do is hit me up and let's make it happen. Let's go. Yes, and as you file in, you already hit that like button. I know you did, so I shouldn't have to tell you. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Roosevelt forever. What's up? Fam Roots is in the building. Don't forget. The Kitchen Clothes podcast is in the building. That's my childhood friend. Peter Troop, what's up? Tiger, what are you doing tonight? Are you here with me? All right, Tiger, we here. El Jefe, what's up? King Michael Coy is in the building. Watch Slice is in the building. Vision 3030. Brian was the first one here, so I got to shout out Brian. Napocalypse, that's a dope name right there. I like that. Course TV is in the building. Frederick Bond, we going to talk about it. We got Coach Kandaka's in the building, making sure the chat is nice and clean. It don't get a little too spooky. Rob Barrett is in the building. Don't forget. Doggie Diamonds did this. So when you hear that Doggie Diamonds did this, that means he did the graphics, he did the beat, he did the speaking, he did everything. So that's what that means. It ain't just that I did this, that you listening to me talk. I did everything. Mr. Q, what's up? How you been? Hopefully all is well. Richard Asante is in the building. Richard Asante is in the building. Yes. God's own DJ The Thinker is in the building. Iceberg Slim, what's up? For show. That's a name right there too, for show. Yes. Yes. What's that instrumental? Doggie Diamonds did this. That's the instrumental. It's the instrumental that I made. That's why I say Doggie Diamonds. We got Nisha 9 Stars in the building as well to hold down the chat to make sure y'all don't get crazy tonight. Because I got the wildest, craziest, most intelligent chat room for sure though. The most intelligent chat room on the internet. Cesar P, what's up? C. Jones Productions. Yeah, we gonna talk about it. Big of El Ra, what's up? That's a fly name too. I like that right there. Yes, don't forget. Doggie Diamonds did this. Yeah, Watch Slice, you know what? I wasn't going to do that. I was going to leave it alone. But I'm like, you know what? Everybody else talking about it. You know, Sherry Hawkins, how you doing? I'm like, yo, you know what? I might as well get my little 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, my dollar. You know what I'm saying? The best out of the 215 is in the building. That is Philly. Philly's in the building. Shout out to Philly. Sir God Black Man, what's up? Disrupting Reality NYC. And if you wonder why they in the green, it's because they are a member of the channel. To get your name in that green, you got to become a member of the channel. Jimar96, what's up? Joshua, what's up? I'm gonna go like Top G Network, what's going on? Rashonda Greer, what's going on? Somebody said Jim, what's your name? Cole said Jim is in his 7th childhood. Goodness gracious, what is that type of thing? Oh, check the background. The background is fire. Let me tell y'all something, man. I work hard for y'all. I really, really work hard for y'all to make sure that all these graphics in this presentation be presentating. You know what I'm saying? I be in here in the Photoshop. I take my thumbnail serious. I know some of y'all be talking junk, but let me just break it down for you. If you don't know, this is the cover of Stillmatic. So I'm like, Jim Jones never made a Stillmatic, but he act like he did. So I took, you know, I did all the bells and whistles to make sure, you know, the presentation is right. I really take that serious. So all the monies that you give, all the donations that you give me, all the cash apps that I receive, I take it and I make sure these programs is bought. These are not free programs. These ain't crack. These ain't none of that. These are pay for monthly subscriptions to the programs. So I make sure I could do that. So y'all could just, y'all could actually fuck with it. But reason why I did that, he did a Stillmatic, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, let me give you one. But if you really look at the artwork, what it's saying is, am I delusional? You know what I'm saying? So that's why it is. And I just like being creative. So sometimes y'all might see the artwork and y'all don't understand. It's my mind, it's my creativity. So what I wanted to do too, a lot of people who come here, they don't understand the talking. This is a podcast. This is just not for me to just sit here and this is a podcast. And if you're looking on a playback, I engage with my audience. I have this is my family. This is not just supporters. This is my family. This is the winning team. So if you new here, just stick around. You got to be here live sometimes and understand why the dialogue the way it is. And I ain't trying to explain nothing to anybody. So I wanted to say, first and foremost, shout out to the legend Nas, one of the GOATs. It is a few GOATs in my opinion, but he's definitely one of them. When it comes to lyrics, when it comes to everything involving hip hop, his name will always be mentioned in any category, whether it's been beat selection, whether it's songs, whether it's rhymes, whether it's verses, whether it's guest verses, whether it's style, whether was the jury, everything that encompasses hip hop, Nas has put forth in this culture. So that's why he earned what he's earned in this culture. Even if he does a project that I don't particularly like, I can never take away who he is and what he did. Never. He's done so much that if he fall off for 20 years, he still got 30 in that he was bodying everything. But he can't ever fall off, in my opinion. Again, sometimes with me, I'm a little picky with production and how I like beats and songs. So I get it. Anthony, what's up? So that be my criticism with it. I wish that he would give us the albums that we want as far as production. But Nas is Nas. Like, come on, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? And I want to shout out Jim Jones too. And I want to shout out Jim Jones because Jim Jones is delusional. And Jim Jones is delusional because he's supposed to be. Jim Jones is delusional because every rapper thinks they better than another rapper, even when they not. Even when they know they not. Even when they know they cannot mess with another a rapper, they still gonna believe that, and they're gonna have people around them that gas them, and it makes them delusional. That's what Jim Jones is going through. Jim Jones is supposed to be delusional. Every rapper is delusional, but some of them are delusionaler, like with a capital, like the delusionalist. And I see what Jim is doing, and it makes a lot of sense because we all talking about him, right? And what we doing is we talking about the music. So that's a win for this right here. That's a win for this. I will say I do have an issue with us having legends and then people putting their names next to legends, because although we know what's the truth, Jim Jones ain't seeing Nas in any way. You know what I'm saying? We know Jim Jones ain't seeing Nas in any way. He put himself in a conversation, and Jay-Z did that as well. When Jay-Z did Where I'm From, Jay-Z said, arguing who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. That wasn't, Jay-Z injected himself in that. Nobody said who's better, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. I remember back then people would say, yo, who nicer, Biggie? People would say Buckshot before they said Jay-Z. They would say Smooth the Hustler. They would say AZ. They would say all types of names. But Jay-Z, in his delusion, thinking that he was better than them or just as good as them, put his name in it and that entered his name in the hat, which Jim Jones checks off a few boxes, though. He does check off a few boxes. But when we talking Nas, we talking GOAT level. Also, this is the thing that Anthony Edwards said about Jordan. I would cook Jordan. Then we see he can't even get out the playoffs. But for a while, him saying that, him having a good moment, made people that don't know any better say, yo, Anthony Edwards is nice, the Ant-Man this, the Ant-Man that. Then we come to find out, I don't want to be the face of the NBA. Well, Jordan wanted to be the face of the NBA. Jordan wanted to be the best in the NBA. Jordan was the best in the NBA. So Ant-Man saying he'll cook Jordan and all that, and Ja Morant and all of them feeling like Ja Morant. You're absolutely right. It was Ja Morant, not Ant-Man. But I think Ant-Man said it as well. I think Ja Morant did said that. Say it. I said that. It was Ja Morant. It was Ja Morant. You're absolutely right. Ant-Man was saying he didn't want to be the face of the NBA. So I stand corrected on that. So before y'all leave 101 comments, I corrected it a few seconds later because it was Ja Morant. And then you see these kids can't even get out the playoffs. You understand what I'm saying? But I get it because we have different errors where people are going to say, yo, nah, I mess with Jimmy. You going to have some young dudes who going to say, I mess with Jim Jones. I don't mess with Nas. And reason why these conversations happen is because it's not enough music talk where people are not being educated on the history of music, right? They're not being educated on who did what. What's happening now, there is a whole conversation omitted from music. It boils down to who's a snitch, who's a rat, who this, who want to shoot the fade, and all this other stupid shit. So what happens is when these music conversations happen, it's a whole generation that don't know about the greatness of Nas, the Big Daddy Kanes, the Rakims, the Big L's. They don't know about that because they don't hear about it. So it's our job to tell them, no, Nas did this, he spawned this, he spawned that. That's our job because the new wave of hip hop is more gang related, more street oriented in the fact of people are really acting out some of the things that they rap about. So when it comes to that, you're going to look at Jim as, yo, he's a part of this new wave of what's going on as far as the streets and the music. So he will have more influence on people thinking he nice based off of his visibility. Nas don't gotta pop out like that. Like Nas don't never have to kick another verse in his life and he's still better than everybody 20 years ago. Jay-Z don't never have to kick another verse. But that's our job as these outlets to school the youth into understanding what was here before what they see now. And not even to disrespect Jim Jones, because I'm going to be real with you, Jim Jones is trolling right now. Jim Jones, listen, let me tell you something, man. What I like about Jim Jones is that he found a way to get in the algorithm. He got all of us talking about him. That shit is hard to do. It's very hard to do for us to actually look and actually search his catalog. His streams probably went up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very, very strategic. It's very, very good marketing. It's very, very good. It's very good to put yourself in a conversation you're not in and people say, because we supposed to just dismiss that shit from the beginning. Right, Harlem Legend TV, he keep himself relevant. He finds a way. This dude finds a way. And what I like to say about Jim Jones is that he's an old-time Harlem hustler who finds a way to keep himself in the conversation. And remember, he's the last of the pack of his crew. He wasn't taken serious. Cameron's the leader. Jewels is next up the bat. We wasn't thinking about no Jim Jones rapping. Who would think in 2025 he would be the most relevant rapper out of his crew? So I understand it. I understand it, what he's doing. I understand it, what he's doing. And then what he do, he might have sprinkled some shit in there that you liked. He might have sprinkled some shit in there that you like. Now, picture the perfect scenario. Max B come home. Everybody love Max B. Max B come home. He get with Max B, and they make some good music together. With hip hop, all be forgiven. Like, we forget that we supposed to be not fuck with certain people, so all be forgiven. But he's delusional in the way that he's supposed to be delusional. Just like I told y'all before, you got some of these kids who be talking about how they was big time hustlers. Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna say this again. In order to hustle, anybody will tell you from New York City. I'm Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, right? Known in my hood, known in certain other boroughs or whatever, but I'm definitely known in Brooklyn, right? For you to hustle in Brooklyn, you had to be tough, or you had to be hustling for somebody who was tough. Now, in our culture, it's so easy for somebody to say they had that work to the oil and all that. And I be looking at certain dudes like, yo, we done took your shit. You hustling? Where? What block did you hustle on? So if you didn't hustle for somebody, you didn't have your own work outside, because that would have got took. Because it used to be a particular time. Ask anybody from any projects, ask anybody from any neighborhood, you used to get told if you wasn't tough, yo, you cannot get no money out here. So now it's easy for these kids to be like, yeah, I did this, I get money and all that. Where? What block you was on? That's why it's a lot of delusion now, because the safest thing you can say in hip hop that you won't get canceled for, you're actually going to get promoted, is that you killed black people and you killed the black community. Just say that as all well. Say you did some other shit that you ain't had no business doing. You're going to get canceled. So you could say you did all this shit, you did all that, and nobody's going to question it. We finding out some people was good kids. Some people come from 2-parent homes. Some people come, they had the 8-ball jacket that they mama bought. They had the Carhartt that they mother and father bought. I had a Carhartt, but I stole it. I took it off somebody back. Give me that. That's me right there. So some people come from good places, but one of the things that they want to do the most is project that they didn't come from good places, and they want to talk bad shit, right? And then talking bad shit and saying that. So one of the biggest things that they want to do is saying, yo, I was out here getting money. Out where? And respectfully, and I'm going to say this too, respect to all my bros out of town, North Carolina, South Carolina, DC, Virginia, Baltimore, Georgia. We was going out of town, upstate, even though it's New York, it's still upstate. We was going out of town with that bravado, that New York bravado, that Brooklyn bravado. And them out-of-town niggas was leaving us out there. Niggas' bodies was getting flew back. I'm just being real with you. We was thinking we could go lock the town down and all that. They was like, not here. You going out of town, you smashing all they sisters, smashing cousins, leaving babies in the town. Yo, they was leaving niggas. I ain't gonna front. I give all out-of-town dudes credit. They was leaving dudes. Especially North Carolina, upstate, Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo. Dudes was going thinking it's sweet. You going to lock the town down? Nah, they wasn't playing. I give them out of town dudes that credit. When we was looking at them and rap when they was slow, but when it came to them streets, they was up on it, because when you went out of town with your work, you tripled your worth. You tripled your money. You know what I'm saying? So you could take a $5 crack and go out of town and sell it for $20. So that's why dudes always say I was out of town getting money. I was out of town. But you had to link with somebody that was out of town to be able to walk you through. You couldn't just go out of town and set up shop. You know what I'm saying? And I give dudes out of town that they wasn't playing with no Brooklyn dudes. They wasn't playing. We was going places. Yo, these out of town. Yeah, they was flying your body back. They was flying your body back. That's the truth. They was leaving Philly. They was leaving dudes. So New York, we cocky, we arrogant. when we was going places hustling, them dudes from that town, if you didn't have somebody solid, that's the point I'm making. If you didn't have somebody solid from the town, you couldn't just go pump. So that's why you see these delusional rappers talking about they did this, and that's why it's so easy. That's why hip hop has an influx of coke rappers and drug rappers, because you could say that, but where did you show and prove? And another thing I want to add while I'm on my little soapbox real quick, Digital Soapbox Network is the damn YouTube. Make sure you subscribe over there. Let me explain something to you. If you're a hustler and you really was getting money, why y'all niggas be begging for record deals? If you really getting money, why you don't put your own record out? Why y'all be begging for record deals? Why you always trying to get down with somebody? Because everybody who I knew in the culture that was really getting that money, they put their own money up. They did their own thing. I be seeing a lot of y'all stuck in little contracts and all that. If you really was one of them pillars and you really getting money, how you in a contract with somebody? So I don't believe you. I don't believe a lot of these coke rap dudes, because I already know niggas would have took your shit. Yo, give me that. Who said, who you out here with? Who said is this? What color tops is those? What color tops is those? Who work is this? Oh, nah, you up out there. Give me that. That's just what it was. So the delusion in hip hop is at an all-time high, because anybody can have a voice, just like in the social media culture. You have people who come before you're under your social media and they say things to you and you be like, what's the thing I always hear? Because a lot of times when I talk, people don't even care about the content. They study me. And they be like, you won't say that in my face. I absolutely will say that in your face. Then I spit when I talk too. Because a lot of people be delusional in the comments too, and they be getting dudes mixed up with other YouTube dudes, thinking that everybody's one and the same. Everybody not the same. Some of us really be outside and been outside with no dirt on our shirt, no marks on our jacket, and really going around in the culture. So a lot of times the comments get delusional. And even for Jim Jones, I respect Jim Jones. He not somebody to play with out on the streets, because he got people that's going to handle what they got to handle. So you might be in his comments saying certain shit, and then when you go outside playing with him like that, somebody going to fix you. Somebody going to fix you. So I just say to people, when you don't agree with somebody, keep it as far as the content. The personal attacks, if you could be recognized for what you say online, you be recognized outside, I guarantee somebody kick a bone off in your eye. I guarantee, because some people be playing, and it ain't even really worth the going outside over hip hop debates. And I'm gonna say it again, I said it the other day. Reason why a lot of people have these hip hop debates, right, is because a lot of people miss the barbershop talk. So you had to be tough to be in the barbershop, because if you was ass and you was in the barbershop, you the last one getting the cut. Who next? You dead on that. I'm next. Dudes will go sit in the chair, make you go sit in the corner. So growing up where I grew up at, you had to be tough. You couldn't just talk, because somebody was going to test you. So y'all missed the barbershops. Y'all missed a lot of stuff. Y'all missed these conversations where the talk about who was nicer than who won either or takeover those days. Y'all missed a lot of that, because some people are young, or some people just wasn't outside. And a lot of times dudes used to fight. I mean, barbershops was a fair one. Shootings, all types of stupid shit. Barbershop arguments, stoop arguments, project hallway argument, lobby arguments, park benches arguments. It used to happen. It used to go down over debating. So when y'all missed that, when you had to be outside, when you opened your mouth and you knew that somebody possibly could put blood in it, you spoke to people different. But now, basketball courts, goodness gracious. Don't be out there hacking people. You was fighting every time, or don't get hacked, because there was some people that don't want to get hacked. The point I'm making is that many people miss that era of life. So now they go online and they want to do the barbershop virtually. That's not how that works. What you gonna do? Type hard at somebody? Sometimes you see people in my comments and they be like, yeah, and I be like, oh my goodness gracious. Just stop. Like if you feel that strongly about me, okay. I'm not asking nobody to be here. I'm not begging nobody. You don't have to tell me about myself. I don't care. So that's the issue what I do have with trolling. Trolling turns deadly because everybody's not playing. But I will give Jim Jones credit in one instance. Jim Jones normally has a hot head. When you speak to him a certain way, he gets a little immature. I'm going to say besides him being delusional, he's been a little mature. You know who wasn't mature? I think Shannon Sharp was immature speaking to Jim Jones the other night. I was a little aggravated by it because Shannon Sharp was really talking like he was outside and he, was about that life and all that. I didn't really like that too much. I'm going to be real with you. I didn't really like the way Shannon Sharp was talking to him like, Shannon, cut it out. Now, if y'all talking about a workout and all that, that's fine. But Shannon Sharp, I felt, was talking a little spicy. He was talking like, I don't know. I didn't really like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really like that. And I felt like Shannon Sharp was trying to get his lick back and get on the good side of us because he got a lot of controversy surrounding him right now. And he wanted to be like, yo, I did it for y'all. I did it for, you know what I'm saying? I peeped the play. I felt like Shannon Sharp was just doing too much. You know what I'm saying? To try to say, yo, look, y'all, I checked them for y'all. That's what I felt. That's what I felt Shannon Sharp was doing. But yeah, I didn't respect it. I was like, come on, Shannon, like you ain't, but Jim is delusional. Jim is trolling. It's working. See, when you do the trolling, it don't work. You look like a fool. But the troll work. We all talking about, yo, he got the whole internet talking about something that is a 5-minute conversation. Look. It is literally a 5-minute conversation. It'll be like, yo, you think Jim Jones is nicer than Nas? Said nobody. Imagine being somewhere and they be like, yo, Jim Jones is nicer than Nas. And you be like,
get the fuck out of here. Who?
Jim Jones and Nas? It's probably only like 5 to 10 people that could be mentioned with Nas out of 7 billion rappers. You know what I'm saying? 7 million rappers. But I want to get to, I do have a Bag Fuel clip. You know, that's my bros over there. Shout out to S.O., Heineken, and Clue. Bag Fuel, that's my family. So I'm always like to use their content, and I like to make sure y'all come from here, go to there, or vice versa. That's my family. Bag Fuel is my family. So me using their content is cool. So let's get to what Jim Jones said.
What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Now, has Nas reached out to you?
You did. The last time he was in some shit like this where people were comparing when him and Jay was beating on him.
Say that.
You heard? You did? Like, and I don't want to talk about other people's career, but let's just get to the semantics of it.
Have you spoken to Nas since the whole thing?
Nas.
Okay.
I don't know Nas to have a conversation with him. You don't have a conversation, we can have that too and shit like that. You dig? Like, I don't really care.
One thing I did see you do, I've seen you.
What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral.
So,
Get the fuck out of here.
see, that's what make it delusional. Like, we talk about Nas, man. We talk about Nas for nothing. And that's the delusion. That's the delusion that you start thinking that what you did or what you're doing, we're talking about Nas. Jim, you my nigga. We not talking about Nas. We talking about you. We talking about how you bugging. We not talking about Nas. Nas is solidified. Like, it's not too many rappers in this culture that we're going to mention them and they are goated. We like sometimes we gotta look for bad shit to say about Nas. And I always say the production. That's just always my issue. Y'all know I'm not a fan of Hit Boy. But I can't talk about what Nas did 900 years ago is better than shit. Come on, man. So that's the delusion. That's the delusion that him thinking in his mind that he's doing something for Nas. No, you doing something for you. This ain't about Nas. This is benefiting you. This doesn't benefit Nas. Nas is Nas. Nas didn't come down off his cloud. Nas shouldn't come off his cloud. I wouldn't even, like, and this is what happens too. If he addresses Jim Jones in any way, that does help you. They've been trying to bait Nas for years. They've been trying to bait Nas from years. You know what I'm saying? So that's the delusion. That right there is what makes you delusional. That you think you're helping Nas. You know, that's the problem. That's the problem that everybody everybody is having. That you think you're better than Nas. Howard D, I appreciate you. And to think that you're better than Nas in any way. In any way. But I want to give Jim Jones credit for being relevant in a conversation of hip hop that normally will be like, and y'all could go on and on all night about Hit Boy. I don't like Hit Boy, so we not gonna waver off that stance. This is not about Hit Boy. This is not even about Nas. It's about Jim Jones. I don't like Hit Boy, okay? That's that. Y'all can argue with whoever you want to argue with. You're not convincing me. This is not new. I'm not going to get here tonight and cap and, oh, I like it. Nope, I don't like Hit Boy. I just don't. That's that. I did a whole show why I don't. If you want to check it out, go look through my archives. But, Nas sparked something. And I addressed it in my show when Ninth Wonder said, The Infamous is the most important New York album ever. And see, when you have statements like that, that's what creates this. Because for some reason, when we got these legends and we got these people that we love in our culture, we start chipping away at them eventually. We let people come in and say shit and it don't get checked. Jim is going to sit with people who, although he's sitting with Clue, you would think Clue know hip-hop. Who said Clue know hip-hop? Because he played records before? Because he did mixtapes? Some people cannot go in depth. Some people are not historians. They're not historians where they could speak facts with somebody and they're going to let Jim rant. Jim wasn't challenged right there. He wasn't challenged, so he got that off. But we going to sit there and say, this nigga smoking some good reefer or something. You know what I'm saying? He's smoking some good reefer. And if y'all know y'all having a conversation with him, y'all should have stats. Y'all should be able to make a list and show him, yo, bro, you don't check some of these boxes. Like, you don't, you wasn't that influential. But I'm being all over the place. Let me go back to my original point with Ninth Wonder. When Ninth Wonder said the Infamous was the most important New York album, I said it was Illmatic because Illmatic created that sound. And we cannot diminish what Illmatic did for hip hop culture, because that was the first time we had a conglomerate of super producers, beat makers, boom bappers get together and create a project. It was the first time we saw that. We know Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Pete Rock is doing the beat for somebody. That's not a remix. We know about Large Professor. Q-Tip? Q-Tip did a beat for somebody? Q-Tip? Now we know we assume he did Tribe Called Quest, but Q-Tip? Interesting. DJ Premier? Gangstar? And then you got this kid rapping who said, waving automatic guns and nuns and went to hell for snuffing Jesus. We was just, and I remember I was about 15 years old, and the first time I heard about Nas, Nasty Nas at the time, his album cover, they said he was supposed to have Jesus in a headlock. And I knew it was cap. Live Hip Hop Daily, I appreciate you. And I was like, Jesus in a headlock? Because I don't know if y'all know, at back in the days, hip hop used to be very shock rap, because you had Biggie would say shit that was just outlandish. And then you had Crustified Dibs, who changed his name to R.A. the Rugged Man. Listen to Crustified Dibs. You had Necro. You had artists that would say shit that you was like, the fuck you just say? What? Nas started that. Just saying shit that you was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about Nas, although I'm gonna put it out there, my GOAT of Queensbridge, I'm never gonna waver from the stand. My GOAT is Tragedy Gaddafi. But Nas had a better career than Trag. Queensbridge is legendary to hip hop, period. Starting with Shan, Black Poet, Craig G. People don't even give Craig G credit that he from Queensbridge too. Nobody even mentions Craig G. Craig G from Queensbridge too. And if you don't know who Craig G is, my favorite song by Craig G is Dropping Science. He's also on the symphony, but he could freestyle off the top better than everybody. Trust me, Craig G off the top. Yeah, look up Craig G versus Supernatural Battles. Craig G versus Supernatural Battle. Look that up. DJ Hot Day. Shout out to DJ Hot Day. I met him. So, again, when you hear me, I can name names in hip hop that you might have been like, oh shit, I forgot about. Everybody can't do that. So when a certain person sit before them and talk, they're gonna be unchallenged. Shout out to Supernatural, but Craig G won. Look up Craig G versus Supernatural. I hope it's on YouTube. Craig G, freestyle off the top. Goodness gracious. But see, this is the conversations that we need to be having. It's not about Jim Jones. Jim Jones sparks these talks. So we go from Jim Jones, and then we go here. We start talking about this. We start talking about our legends, our heroes, sheroes. That's what this is all about. So we're going to take from these conversations of delusion and start putting the light on the people who deserve it. We're going to take the light off the undeserving and put it on the deserving. So shout out to Craig G. Shout out to Trad. That's my brother. Shout out to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Why not consider mental decline being a thing in hip hop? These artists are getting older, aging, and overall health isn't priority in the culture. But I'm gonna say something to you too. Now listen, you have people right now. I've been watching basketball. Shout out to Gil's Arena. Kenyon Martin was in Brooklyn, so I'm a little biased towards Kenyon. Well, rather he was on the Nets and then they moved to Brooklyn. So I watched Gil's Arena a lot. And we've been watching people disrespect the Black Mamba. You've been having people disrespect the Mamba now. People starting to say Kobe wasn't really that. People starting to say it's LeBron, Jordan, then Kobe. Or who's the GOAT? LeBron or Jordan. People omitting Kobe. So this is just, I don't know, man. I just think Traveling Man says Nas brought Queens back. Yeah, because KRS-One did do the bridge dirty. We have in our culture, something about our culture is that we don't love our legends. We start picking them apart. We start saying, oh, you look old, need to sit your ass down. They starting to diss the Mamba. They starting to diss Kobe. Look at what's going on. They starting to talk bad about Kobe. Kobe is off limits. Yeah, we could say LeBron might have a case for greatest of all time because of stats. Very high skilled player. But Kobe? Jordan is my GOAT. Always will be. I watched him play. I was young enough to see him play. I was young enough to see Kobe play. And I see LeBron play. Kobe and Jordan be having niggas scared. They had niggas scared. You see all them veterans was like, I know, shout out to Vernon Maxwell, man. I love Vernon Maxwell and his character. Like, I know I got to play that motherfucking mic tomorrow. I'm going to sleep. That's what all this shit is. That's what this is about. When you so great that you making motherfuckers lose sleep. Imagine you as an artist. You, me. We know we gonna be in the studio with Nas tomorrow. Could you imagine? You probably wouldn't be able to sleep. Yo, tomorrow you gonna be in the studio with Nas. How could you sleep? How could you sleep? You can't sleep? Yo, you interviewing Nas tomorrow. Damn. Yo, I'm hyped. And it ain't too many artists that you tell me that I'm an interview that I'm gonna be like, yo, I got that Nas interview tomorrow. You know, there ain't too many artists, oh, you gonna interview such and such. All right, I interviewed them before. I respect all artists. But yo, Nas wanna do an interview with you. Yo, I'm calling my whole family. Yo, I'm interviewing Nas tomorrow. There ain't too many artists you gonna do that for. That's what makes you the GOAT. When people look at you and say, yo, thank you. Yo, Nas wants you to interview him. Who? Me? Oh, nah. Nas? One time, shout out to School, aka Johnny Famous. I came up with School in the culture. One time we was at a spot next to LG. I forgot the damn name. Big Daddy Kane was there. Now, if y'all know me, y'all know Big Daddy Kane is my favorite artist. Kane was right there. I'm a grown-ass man. I was intimidated because I knew I was standing in front of greatness and I acted like it. I wasn't like, fuck a nigga Kane. I was like, yo, that's Kane. Like, yo, that's him. That's him. That's when you love the culture. Yo, that's him. That's him. And I remember saying to School, yo, School, yo, ask that nigga King, could I get an interview? I'm not starstruck by nobody. But I saw him. I saw a hymn. It ain't too many hymns. Nas is a hymn. And I was like, yo, school. Yo, ask Kane, could I get an interview? And it's on the channel. I interviewed Big Daddy Kane. And the first time I saw Kane, I was up at Cold Chillin' Records and he was doing Media Man. And shout out to OJ, OJ Wedlow. OJ was saying, yo, your man is in there. I said, who? They said Kane. Kane and where? Yo, he in the office. I was scared to go in there. I mean, fucking, this is Kane. This is Kane. This is Rakim. Like, yo, if you love this culture and you from this culture, you don't talk about certain people a certain way unless they do some shit you don't like. But when it comes to the music, they, them. Oh, shit. See? That's how real it is. Hold on, because he might be listening. Hold on. I'm telling you, sometimes shit so real, life be lifing, the universe is perfect. Hold on.
Doggie, what's up, brother?
Yo, I'm live on YouTube. I just told the whole world, and you text me that my favorite rapper from Queensbridge is Tragedy Gaddafi, and you just text me.
Oh, word?
Yo, I promise you, bro, the universe is perfect.
Yo, that's ill.
Yo, at the audience, I just told them, yo, my favorite is Tragedy Gaddafi. We all love Nas, but my personal favorite is Trag.
I appreciate that, bro.
Yo, you know I love you to death. That ain't shit, I'm live on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Live on YouTube.
I just was thinking about you. I was like, yo, you know, when we spoke the other day,
right.
I was like, yo, that's peace. He just boomeranging and checking on me. Let me just hit my bro real quick.
Always.
I know he'd be busy such as myself, but I just had to send that text out to you, know what I mean?
Yo, but Trad, you don't understand. They wilding because you text me as I talked about you. I thought you was watching the show.
Nah.
Wow.
My people's had a little get together over here, you know, immaculating, sipping a little wine.
Right.
Hit my bro and all that. Hit my bro.
Always. Yeah. All right. So after I lock up this show, I'll hit you back.
All right, boomerang.
Yep.
Until then, stay chiseled, stay focused.
Always. Peace. That's hip hop right there. That's what we talking about. This is when you in alignment. When you in alignment, I thought he was watching me. You see how that work? I deserve to get a like for that because you're not gonna get shit like this nowhere else. I don't want to brag about myself or put myself on a pedestal. You see how real shit is? I just said that's my favorite Queensbridge rapper, but that's my bro. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these artists, I just check in. What he said, you just check in on me. I don't want nothing from none of these guys. When a lot of times just knowing that they mentally strong, physically strong, and spiritually strong, I always just check in on all my brothers. Like, yo, you good? All right. That's how real this shit is. And me and Traj, I'll call Traj and curse his ass out if I see him not doing something he's supposed to be doing because that's how real it is with him. You understand what I'm saying? So, and that's the guy who allegedly made up the word Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? Illmatic. So, wow, that shit gave me the chills a little bit. Like, I just looked down and seen Trash text me. I'm like, fuck, he text me. He must be listening. You know, but this thing called hip hop, we're going to see a lot of delusional things. We're going to call out some stuff. Sometimes when we say certain things, it's not all that favorable, but it strikes conversation when we talking about this. And it should always be respectful because I don't want none of y'all really to disrespect Jim. Let him know he delusional if that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? But the beauty of it, right? the beauty of it is this. Jim Jones and Nas. And shout out to Core Mega. Shout out to Core Mega. That's my brother. Core Mega. Let me tell you something about Core Mega. The realness being the name of his album, the realness being the name of his album is an understatement of Core Mega, the man. I ain't talking about Core Mega, the rapper. I ain't talking about no character. I'm talking about the man, Core Mega. The realness is an understatement of what that man is. And I'm going to call him a man because that's exactly what he is. Core Mega put out one of the most profound things today, and I saw it. And he said, this culture enabled Jim Jones to feed his family and Nas to feed their family, and both of them don't want for nothing. Both of them done incredible things in the culture, whether you like it or not. Yo, that's real. And sometimes Core Mega is such the voice of reason. I wish he spoke more, but Core Mega is very, very picky of who he speaks to because everybody don't speak his language. But I got some Core Mega interviews up here. Make sure you people. You know what I'm saying? But Core Mega is incredible man. You know what I'm saying? Like incredible, so just solid, man. Just solid. You know what I'm saying? Just solid. I like I said, the realness is I hope he got that shit tatted on him. Even though he Muslim now, maybe he don't got no tats. But Core Mega, follow Core Mega on all social media because you're gonna get that pure, unadulterated, real shit. Real. You know what I'm saying? Real. So you're gonna have the youth that don't know any better, and that's our problem. That's our fault. That's our fault for not schooling the younger homies of who Nas is and how he added on. And how if it wasn't for Nas doing Illmatic, you wouldn't have had no Reasonable Doubt, no Purple Tape, no Ready to Die, because they all studied the blueprint of what was done with Illmatic. And this is a fact. This is a fact. You understand what I'm saying? Rare Species said, can a drug dealer really be solid though? That's your perception. See, even when we talk about drugs and drug dealers, we have some drug dealers that got morals. They say, I'm not selling to no pregnant women. I'm not selling to no old lady, and I ain't selling to no kids. Even sometimes in negativity, you could find something positive. And me being a reformed crack dealer for like a few months, I realized that it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It wasn't my thing to do because what I was trying to do to somebody else is what was being done to me. As far as my parent suffering from substance abuse. And when I seen them fathers come with them Nintendos, and when I seen them fathers come with certain shit, I was like, damn, that's me. Nah, this ain't my game. This ain't for me. So although, believe it or not, the underworld does have a lot of integrity sometimes. I know you look at it as a surface level drug dealer, but some of the drug dealers was like, go to school. Some of the early drug dealers funded hip hop. They was putting your favorite artists out. They was putting them jewelry out on them. They was doing a lot of that. They was booking them for shows. You know what I'm saying? So again, it is easy to say the drug dealers help destroy the community, but you're talking about the lower level people to a higher thing. And one thing that I notice y'all do, I don't know if you do this purposely, but you've been taught to do this. Y'all like to omit the people who's responsible. Y'all like to go after the low-hanging fruit. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you go after the people responsible, they get rid of your ass. So many people are scared. Many people are scared. So we could go after each other. We could shit on each other. We could say what we want about each other. Because when you go after the real culprits, your ass come up missing. You choke on the egg. Rest in peace, Prodigy. Shit start happening. So it's easy to say the low-level people is the problem. But people get put in conditions, and the condition, people say, But why you acting like that? You understand what I'm saying? Why you acting like that? In verse pro, I hear you. I'm not saying you wrong, but you have a 2025 mentality that goes back before we was born that was happening. Because we could say this, right? What about when they put the smack on the dudes in the hood? Because it's the crack, that's what hit us. That 80s, the crack hit us. What about the smack that hit before that? But again, we're going to go for the low-hanging fruit because it's easy to blame somebody. It's just like saying, yo, dudes got hammers. So dudes made the hammers and brought them here? When you heard stories of them dropping hammers off on trains, leaving them in places where they was accessible. Anywhere it's poverty, you're going to get crime. Think about this. A lion is on a plane with his pride, with cubs, lionesses, rival lions, hyenas, elks, bison, some elephants. Everybody there chilling, drinking out that same ravine, drinking out the same lake. When does that lion turn into a lion and start acting like one? When he get hungry. When it's time to hunt. That's when that lion turned into a lion. Other than that, they all drinking out the same water. You got the zebras and all of them is deep. The hyenas deep over here. They all got their own little crews. But as soon as the lion get hungry, that's when he let it be known, I'm the king out here. When y'all gotta go. So where we from, we got tricked into thinking that you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have that, so you inadequate. And then they bless some people with it. So we didn't want food, clothing, and shelter. We wanted the finest food, the shit that was oxtails and delicacy. That's why so many people love seafood. That was bum-ass food in some places. I just want y'all to know that. That shit that y'all putting the bibs on for, that was bum shit. Oxtails, that's bum shit. Chitlins, that's bum shit. That was bum-ass food. Shit wasn't even worth nothing. You go to the fucking water and catch it. You think they was doing it? That was bum shit. Even the clothes. Even the clothes. We come from just having something on your back to somebody saying, hey, man, that name makes that shirt worth more than the cotton that is made from or the polyester. Then we started chasing labels. We started chasing labels. Then with the shelter, we all live in the projects. We all step over the same piss in the elevators. But a nigga like, yo, I got a dope surround sound in my crib. You still live in the projects, nigga? You hooked up a project apartment? You got an AC in every room? Whoop-de-doo, you still in the project. The elevators go out, you don't got a special elevator. So that's why I be telling to y'all about these doomsday people who be making these videos. Yo, where? This nigga acting like he got a fallout shelter. Because I thought just last week, all these people had y'all saying, we're at war, it's World War III. What happened? What happened? And y'all don't hold people accountable for fucking with y'all and lying to y'all. Y'all just take the content and get all worked up while they sitting there getting their cash apps, their donations and all that shit and fucking with you. That's a mind fuck. And what they did was they passed it to us to do it to us because we learned from them. And when we start getting views, likes, and money, we do and say anything. And y'all won't hold them accountable. Y'all go right back to that channel. And you'll never say, yo, what you said about this? But you want to argue with me 2 months later that I don't like a goddamn Redman album. You want to argue with me 3 months later, your take's been weak lately. But the dude just told y'all fucking World War III was coming. And it ain't happened. Buster told y'all
It's only 5 years left.
30 years ago. Now he out here fat, skinny and shit, looking like a damn Dominican, and nobody don't hold him accountable. So if you was telling us it was only 5 years left in 1995, what's the instruction now? He ain't got none. He ain't got none. He ain't got none. And y'all just blind follow. That's why y'all be getting got. That's why when you see me say I don't like certain shit, because I don't like that nigga. I don't like this person. I don't like that person. Why? Because they play with your mind. Nobody can play with my mind. Because I know they on the take. I know that they getting paid. I know that somebody paying them to delegate them to fuck with niggas. What's the biggest way to control people? Keep them afraid. Keep them afraid. Just like you fucking tie a dog to a goddamn pole. You could take the leash off. Niggas just gonna sit there. That's what they do to us. But they using hip hops. They using all this shit. And now we starting to blame us. We starting to blame us for the shit they did to us. Right? Now this is the thing. We do have to take accountability. But one of the biggest thing that we don't do, and this shit is some important shit, we're going to have to start caring a little bit more about these children that's coming behind us, because many of us, shit, we got more time behind us than we got ahead of us. And y'all watching them babies come up in these cultures and all that, and y'all leading them the wrong way, steering them the wrong way, as long as you can line your fucking pocket, you don't care. That's what gotta stop. The lies gotta stop. The deceit gotta stop. The dissension gotta stop. The fear mongering gotta stop. The stupid shit gotta stop. And you gotta start holding people accountable. Yo, why y'all always talking about that? How do we progress from that? It ain't about hip hop takes. It's about who's gonna shoot the fade. All of this and all. That is the problem, because that does not teach us conflict resolution when you got grown-ass men talking about what they gonna do to each other when they see each other over some hip-hop shit or some gang shit or some stupid shit. How do you tell children, yo, y'all talk it out, y'all cut it out, y'all friends, if y'all don't even know how to act? That's one of the biggest problems. That's why I don't like Umar. He's supposed to be a fucking principal. He's supposed to be a child psychologist that talk and act like a fucking child. The minute he get challenged, look how he go off. He don't even know how to get into his scholarship. He don't even know how to use his alleged doctorate to talk to people who's supposed to be beneath him verbally and mentally. He stooped down to levels. Anytime you see Malcolm get challenged, look how he spoke. Always has style, grace, and elegance. And a lot of y'all dudes that be dissing MLK, y'all cowards. A lot of dudes be dissing MLK too. I ain't feeling that, because y'all bought into a narrative and y'all don't know enough about history. And there's always the dudes that don't do shit in costume that want to disrespect MLK, one of our great leaders, that knew he was going to get his head bust and went and got his head bust. And then by the time he woke up to what's going on, they took him out. So if you ain't on that front line, you on social media or YouTube or these apps talking about somebody who put it on the line, shut up, man. Shut up. Shut up. Because again, it's easy to talk about us. Say something about them. You gone in one day. Everything. So they'll be like, hey, man, they shitting on each other. Black on black crime. Who cares about that? You could kill 100 niggas. Nobody cares. Harm a child or a woman. It's the end of the world. Black men, niggas had to get it. But I ain't mean to really veer off into that really quick. I wanted to stay on hip hop. I appreciate y'all. Anybody who donated, anybody send me a code, Cash App, anybody who Martin Luther King started saying Black Power. He had to go. Once he started fucking with the money, oh, you going to do boycotts? You getting into economics? whoa, you gotta go. But I'm gonna hit up Jim Jones. I'm gonna try to bring him on. Shout out to Jim Jones. Delusional. And I want to say this. I want to say this about Jim. Is I don't think he understand this with Jim. Jim, I don't think he understand this because nobody has been able to tell him this. Nobody has been able to tell him this. It's not about you, Jim. It's about us protecting Nas. It ain't about you. It's about us protecting one of our GOATs, one of our legends, and somebody that paved the way. So yes, you are supposed to think you better than him. Yes, you supposed to feel all that. But I don't see none of these niggas ever say they better than Eminem. They bow down to him. All of them. Only person I see go at Eminem was Ross. But we call him delusional. I don't see none of them say, I'm better than Eminem. And the minute somebody say something about him, but the game, let me say something about game. Shout out to the game, but the game antics is so far out that we start omitting his lyrical ability. Because game be a lot of gimmick. He could rap his ass off though, but it'd be too much gimmick. So we be wanting, and then that Black Slim Shady was corny. So we sadly, we don't give game his credit. And cannabis, everybody was against cannabis, and cannabis beat LL, but nobody will admit that. Nobody will admit that. Because the minute the game say he'll go at Eminem, we start discrediting what we don't like about game. Us, we do that. We don't be like, oh nah, let that boy come out there and fight. Let him come out there and fight the game. We be like, oh, M don't even gotta respond. The game is a clown. So we do the dirty work for these dudes. We should have let him fight the game. Now come out and fight game. Come out. Come out and go at Ross. But we'll take that one for him. But then you have some people really discrediting Nas. The way they'll discredit Kobe. The way they'll discredit Kobe. So Jim has to understand it ain't about you. It's about us protecting one of the GOATs. You know what I'm saying? No, Eminem would rather respond to Mariah Carey. He'd rather respond to Mariah Carey or talk about a retired Joe Budden. You know what I'm saying? But I like the game, but see, that's one of the things about the game. And I want to do a whole show on the game, and I want to try to get, because the game got me blocked on Instagram. I don't know what I did to him, but I'm not a sucker. He could block me and I still could say he dope. I'm not one of them people that be like, you block me so I don't like you. Nah, that's bitch shit. You block me for whatever reason, but I still think you dope. But that's a conversation that I would like to, I probably have it with Wack Live and to ask him, do he think the game's antics stunted his growth as far as how people view him? But I like the game. Game is fire. You know what I'm saying? Game know how to pick beats. And what was one of the reasons why we love the game? Rhyme like a New York nigga. Rhyme like he from here. That's why we love the game. He could pick the hell out some beats. And we say what we want about Ross. Yeah, The cop could rhyme, though. Let's be real with y'all. The cop could rhyme, and he picked some incredible music. Yo, speaking of delusional, nobody is delusional as Ross, though. We watched Ross get clunked in Canada. And that nigga was like, ain't nobody hit me. And we started saying, maybe nobody hit him. Ross, the nigga stole on you. Cut it out. Ross is the top. Ross is number one delusional. He's delusional. He's number one. Nobody believe they bullshit like Ross. You just gotta laugh at that shit because that nigga's full of shit. Nobody believe. He'll have you start. Maybe that wasn't him in the CEO shit. He's the biggest delusional, but he I believe in my opinion, he could rap. He made good music. You know what I'm saying? And I believe a lot of people don't like Ross because of what 50 said. But remember, when 50 was going at Ross, that's when Ross made the most powerful music. He made some of the most powerful music when 50 was going at Ross. So, all right, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. Make sure you hit the like button. The like button is important. If you sent the Cash App, it's pinned to the screen. I appreciate it. And if you donated, I appreciate y'all. But at least you can hit the like. And again, it's not only about Jim Jones, it's that we protect the NAS. That's what's happened. We protect the NAS. This ain't got nothing to do with Jim Jones. We protect the NAS, and as we should protect anybody that's legendary and that's a legend. And we gotta, let anybody know we're gonna be careful with that slander. We're gonna be careful with the delusion. And shit, sometimes you look, if you say something about, I had people coming at me in the other thing of when I did about A. Marie. A. Marie ain't sound that bad. Yeah, all right, go look at them viral clips that's going on right now. Or you delusional. Because I know what my ears hear. A. Marie ain't sound all that hot. But I know some people like to argue with me. And I'm going to give you a reason why some people like to argue with me. Some people like to argue with me because they have a difference of opinion. I respect that. And they're respectful. They say their points. We go back and forth. But some people like to argue with me because I know it's very weird sometimes for you to see a free man. Let me tell you what a free man is. A free man get to do what he want, say what he want. Do what he want, say what he want, anytime he want to. That's what free men could do. And I'm a person that I could go live when I want. I could say whatever I want when I want. And a lot of people can't do that. So it's an envy in that. One, they don't have the platform. Two, they always got this, ooh, you gonna get in trouble. Ooh, this person ain't gonna give you a verse. Ooh, this person gonna unfollow you. Ooh, you ain't gonna get this deal. Ooh, don't you say that. That's what a lot of people suffer from. As for me, I don't give a fuck. I made this, the maker, the owner, the cream of the motherfucking planet Earth. That's what I am. I am the maker and the owner of everything you see that I do. Nobody could take responsibility for what I do, for what I say, or whatever. Yeah, the cop could rap. And a lot of people don't got that. A lot of people need somebody. They want to lean on somebody, or they're hoping that somebody else invests in their dreams, their visions, and hopefully somebody else say their name. I don't care about none of that. I'm a man, and the biggest help that I could get is right here on the end of my own arm. So I don't have time to be dealing with, I can't say this and I can't tell the truth when it comes to the culture. Because you see, I never say this person's a bitch, this person not the gangster, this person ain't this. I never did that. I always talk about cultural things. And if talking about the culture upsets you, it makes you that mad where I gotta, you want to unfollow me and but that's fine too. People be like, oh, I'm unsubscribed. I don't. Listen, that's cool. But I know you rarely get to see people that could speak about the culture and know what they talking about, give you an opinion, which you don't have to agree with, but I know the culture. I know who produced what. I know the sample. I know the drums. I know who was in the studio. I know all of that because if I'm not nothing else, I'm a study and a historian of the culture. So if nothing else, I should get respect. And I put a lot of people on my platform before too. Let's not forget that because it was people that you didn't see. It was people that you didn't see in this culture that wasn't getting love that I give love to. And I call a lot of my brothers. I call a lot of them. I show a lot of them love. And I make sure every time I speak, y'all know who they are. And you might say, damn, I don't know who Tragedy is. Let me go look it up. And while we talking about that, make sure you go check out the Bernadette Price album, A Widow's Cry. Love the album. You know what I'm saying? I love the album. Rest in peace to my brother, Sean Price, a.k.a. Ruck. Yo, make sure you get that Bernadette Price, A Widow's Cry album. At least stream it. I just want y'all to know that this is how she's trying to maintain now. This is how she's trying to feed herself and her children. Sean Price is not here. She went into the booth, shocked everybody, was able to do her thing. So if you support her, then you supporting him and being able to put food in her family's mouth that he's no longer here to provide for. And we know how we do our legends. People don't, you understand what I'm saying? Sean Price is not in a lot of these conversations that he should be in. And if you never seen my Sean Price interview, go look at that. That's on the channel too. You know what I'm saying? Go look at that. It's on the channel too. So, all right, I got to run. I got a bomb dropping tomorrow. I got a bomb dropping tomorrow. So make sure you look out for social media. I think I'm going to put it on YouTube, but I'm trying to figure out how I could put it on YouTube without getting in, within the terms of service. But what I'm definitely going to do, if you don't follow me on social media, I'm Doggie Diamonds on Instagram, Doggie Diamonds TV 2 on Instagram, Doggie Diamonds TV on Facebook, and Doggie Diamonds on TikTok. I seen somebody in the comments the other day. I'll give you a jewel real quick. Again, when you regurgitate and don't research, you start saying stupid shit. Somebody said real men don't sit on TikTok. It's not about sitting on TikTok. It's a lot of information. And anytime you have these tools, you have produced by B Jams. Yeah, you absolutely right. Damn, I forgot. I got something exquisite. Anytime you have these free tools, the social media that don't cost you nothing and you can utilize it to promote, stop listening to people who don't got shit. Stop, please. If you have an album, if you have a YouTube, if you have a shirt and you on these platforms and using it for promotion, stop letting people trick you out your spot because the average person who tell you shit don't even know what they talking about. They don't know what they talking about. So it's not about sitting on TikTok because I ain't on there dancing, but I'm definitely going to use that free outlet to promote this Doggie Diamonds TV brand because it ain't cost me nothing to be on TikTok. And people getting money all over. And one thing that you could trick a nigga out of is his money because people start regurgitating, oh, real men don't sit on TikTok. Well, real men don't tell other men what the fuck to do either. And real men don't listen to people who don't know what they talking about. So, somebody said if it wasn't for Large Professor and MC Search, we wouldn't have NAS. That sounds good. Let me tell you what the problem with that statement is. Let me tell you what the problem with that statement is. You once had people who tried to take credit for me. And I'm going to tell you like I told them. And I use the analogy of Michael Jordan and Dean Smith. In 1982, Dean Smith put Michael Jordan in the game against Georgetown because he believed in Michael Jordan. You know what Michael Jordan did? He hit the shot. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have Jordan in the game if it wasn't for Dean Smith. But Jordan did the most important thing. He hit the shot. So we always want to give credit to somebody, but we never want to give credit for the execution because there's a lot of people who didn't hit the shot. Do Dean Smith take credit for all the people who missed? So you can't take credit when people do their job. That's why you put them in the game, because you knew they was going to do their job. Because do you take the same credit when they don't do their job? So people used to try to take credit for me. Oh, I did this, I did that. Yeah, and I did incredible interviews. Yeah, and I helped build a brand. If I was trash, if I sucked, would you take credit that I sucked? Because nobody that I ever was around taught me how to do anything like show this. I just watch certain people. So stop omitting people's hard work. Stop saying if it wasn't for this, this wouldn't be, because Nas bust his ass. Still here in 2025. Worked hard, helping others. You can't give that to Large Professor, and you can't give that to MC Search. Because if they did that for him, why they ain't doing that shit for nobody else? They put him in, and he did his job and delivered something that we still talk about to this day. So when you mess with somebody, you're doing something for somebody, and they doing a good job, stop taking away from their good job to give it to somebody else. Say, yo, good job. And you let that said person say, thanks to Large Professor and thanks to MC Search. That's for them to say, not you. Sometimes you wouldn't be nothing without God. What if said person believe in the devil? The same way people get on their knees and pray to God, it's people who get on their knees and pray to the devil against you. It's some people that'll be like, I hope that nigga don't get that. You think they talking to God? You think they talking to God? You think they talking to somebody negatively about you? They talking to the evil spirits. Whether you believe in the jinn, Iblis, the devil, whatever. So the same way you'll say, yo, I bet better than third. You say this, that, and the third. You got some people that'll be like, yo, hope a nigga don't get that shit. Hope that nigga fall. Who's gonna grant that? Talking to that devil. And I watch some of y'all talk to the devil every day because some of y'all just hate motherfucker, but you calling me a hater. But guess what? I'm gonna end on this note. In our culture, either you a hater or a glazer. That's what y'all call people. That ain't my thing. That ain't what I made up. Either you a hater or a glazer. Right? That's what y'all say. If I love something too much, why are you glazing them? If I don't like something, why are you hating? Guess what? I'd rather be a hater than a glazer. Because a glazer is a dick sucker. I'd rather hate anybody than suck dick.